130, 165, 295 training total at 79 kilos body weight. That's pretty cool. I leave for India on Saturday. Let's go. Welcome to my final week of training before I head off to India and try and qualify for the Commonwealth Games next year in Glasgow. This week is a little bit different than normal because it's currently Friday and I leave tomorrow morning. So this week I've only trained on Tuesday and Thursday. So things are a bit different this week. Not my usual 5-session week. But Tuesday was a very big day. Went heavy on my snatch and heavy on my clean and jerk. And then Thursday was a much smaller day, but still very important to keep the body moving. So I'm gonna take you through it. We started off on Tuesday with our snatches. Now for the last few weeks, I've been getting up to 125 kilos, 127 kilos. And last week I hit 127 kilos. And this was the first time I'd hit that weight in a few weeks. I'd missed it multiple times before, but I finally got under it and stood it up on Wednesday last week. The goal was to do that or better today, and I was feeling really good. So we made our usual way up, 110, 115, 120. And then we made the jump to 125. And this 125 felt unreal.
Nice!
The main thing I was focusing on today is keeping the bar close as I get into the third pull. So if you don't know what the third pull is, it's like the third portion of the pull, which kind of makes sense with their name. It's from the upper thigh to that final shrug. That has been a big issue for me, is getting the sequencing correct with my body. So the first and second and third pull. Usually I can do it when I'm recovered and in a competition, but sometimes it's not there when I'm training and sometimes when I'm competing. So it can be really hard to put together lifts at around 100% when I can't sequence my movements correctly. But today they were feeling great. 125 kilos, moved wonderfully. So after that, we decided to put 128 on to beat the week before.
Nice!
And this was okay, but I felt like I was a bit mentally out of it. Maybe I wasn't as focused, or maybe I'd switched off. I'm not really sure what happened, but yeah, I was in my own head a bit before the lift, and that showed because I pressed it out with my right arm. I didn't move as fast, I jumped back a lot, and yeah, it just wasn't as pretty as I wanted it to be. But I still stood it up, so I was still happy to get under 128. And after that, I spoke to my coach and he said, let's put 130 kilos on just to get how it feels. Body weight is currently 79 kilos, that's my competition weight. Attempting 130 and training at 79 kilos is something that I've only done once before, and it was at the start of the year and I missed it twice in training. So I think getting the frequency up with the heavy snatches at this lighter body weight is something that will really help me with my consistency moving forward. So we wanted to put it on to see how it felt. Now, I was quietly confident going into this lift because I was feeling really good, but with the 128 doing what it did, I was kind of a little bit worried that it wouldn't be great. But I silenced those thoughts. I tried my best to be positive and give those positive thoughts space instead of focusing on the negatives, and I just ripped it and got under it.
Hold it!
Now, I'm not gonna lie, there might be a little bit of a press. It's marginal, but it was better than the 128. But to get under 130 kilos, it's something that I've only done in training 3 times, including this one. I was so happy to get under it, and my reaction kind of shows that. 130 kilos in training. how bloody good. And the great thing about this is that for me, I usually hit more in my snatches in competition. So every single competition in the last 2 years, I've snatched more in competition than what I've snatched in training. So to hit 130 at this point in the prep is something I've never done before. I've hit 130 in competition heaps of times, but never in training at this point. The last time I hit 130 kilos in training, I weighed about 87 kilos. I'm currently 79 kilos. So you do the math. I think I'm getting stronger. But that was it for the snatches on Tuesday. Then we moved on to our clean and jerks. And oh man, I was nervous for these because my clean and jerks in the last 6 weeks have just been all over the place because the fatigue in my legs has been so severe. It's been a massive front squat block. I've been squatting 4 times a week. I've just been putting so much volume through my legs that anytime I get to a heavy clean and jerk in the last 6 weeks, I've just been absolutely destroyed by the clean. And if you do weightlifting, if you've ever done clean and jerks, when the clean is really, really hard, that jerk is just next level. So when the clean is hard, the jerk is hard, and when my legs are tired, everything is just crazy. The last few weeks, I've tried to hit 160 kilos in training, and I've tried to go over it once last week, and it just wasn't even close. The 160 cleans were brutal, and I managed to get a really dodgy one last week on Wednesday, but I wasn't happy with it. And then I put 163 on as a kind of Hail Mary afterwards, and just no good, man. So I was quite nervous because in my warm-ups for these clean and jerks, they weren't feeling great. I got to 140 and I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna put 20 kilos on this? And just those negative thoughts were just all over the place in my head, and I was struggling. So I just had a bit of a pause, a think, a reset, and then I just shifted my focus. I just was thinking, the next lift. You just gotta focus on one lift. Don't think about where you wanna end up, just think about the next lift and putting in the most effort you can into each single attempt. 140 felt average. $150 felt okay. Then next up, 155. Again, not really sure what I was doing, but I was just trying my best.
Nice. Come on. Punch it, mate. Fast press.
And then we put 160 kilos on. And for some reason, at this point, at 160 kilos, I just got super, super confident. I trusted my technique. I was focusing on the right things, keeping my arms relaxed, focusing on having an amazing receiving position in the clean, and just standing it up as fast as possible to make the clean as easy as I could, so then I could nail the jerk. And the mind is a crazy thing because my body was feeling awful. My lower back was tight, my legs were hurting. I was tired, it's as simple as that. I was fatigued, but I didn't let that stop me. I stood up 160 kilos and it was feeling great, jerked it, a little bit wobbly. The timings were a bit off on my jerks all day today, but we made 160. And it felt great to nail it, to not get crushed at the bottom of the clean, to stand it up and feel confident before the jerk. It's an amazing feeling when the last few weeks I've been really struggling with that same weight. So after 160 kilos, my coach asked me, what do you want to hit next? And I immediately said 165. Now 165 is a number that I've hit in training a lot. I actually got a memory. This time 2 years ago, I hit 165 in training and it looked really, really easy. But everything exists within context. Nothing is a vacuum in weightlifting. Everything should be contextualized. I've been lifting more than I ever have in the last 2 months. The volume that I've been putting through my legs is more than I've ever done before. And back then, when I hit 165, yeah, you might say that I looked stronger, but I know I'm stronger now. The data tells me that I'm stronger now. And the thing you have to manage in weightlifting is pushing the volume and pushing that fatigue through the legs so that you can progressively overload and have the volume go like that. But the downside of that is that if you try and push squats at the same time, your snatch and your clean and jerk will suffer. There are very few lifters that can push squats maximally and snatch and clean and jerk at the same time and not be affected by either one. So at that time, 2 years ago, I was barely pushing my squats, and I think I could maybe squat 200 kilos or 201 kilos. I can't even remember if I'd squatted 200 kilos yet. But right now, my back squat is 220, my front squat's 190, so I know I'm stronger now. And with that in mind, all I had to do today was trust my technique, and I'd be able to hit 165 because I'm more than capable. So 165 was on the bar, and all I had to do was hit it.
Come on, mate. Take your time. Control that dip. Yes!
And once again, I trusted my clean. It did crush me a little bit, but I stood it up. My legs were tired, my back was tight. But again, I just trusted my technique and did what I could to get the weight above my head. So that's it, we nailed 165. And I'm confident that we have more in the tank. And just like with my snatches, 9 times out of 10, when I hit a number in training, I can hit more at competition. And the reason for that is that me and my coach, we set up my training so that the competition lifts are our biggest ever lifts and that we are the most recovered for our competition lifts, because in the sport of weightlifting, you are judged on your total in competition. No one cares what you hit in training in terms of competition results. No one cares what you hit in training. No one cares what you can snatch when you have everything perfect. You're in your own environment. You've had the perfect day. You've had all the sleep you could. You've eaten the best things before. Now, sidebar, that might be a bit rude saying no one cares, but in the grand scheme of things, weightlifting is about the competition. Lifting big weights in training is cool, but that's not the competition. That's not what we're judged on. So hitting 130, hitting 165 for me in training are huge numbers. I've never hit those numbers together right before a competition. I've hit 165 before, I've hit 130 before, but not in training on the same day this close to a competition. So I'll tell you how that makes me feel. That makes me feel excited. That makes me feel confident that in 6 days from now in India, when I'm competing, that I can beat those numbers. Will I do that? Only future Rory knows. But all I can say now is that I'm trying my best to be positive, confident, excited, and I'm ready to hit the competition floor in India to put my best foot forward to qualify for the Commonwealth Games. So that is the recap for Tuesday, my snatch and clean and jerks. I still had some accessories to do after that, some back squats and some other movements, but that's not as exciting as a big snatch and a clean and jerk, is it? So that's all for Tuesday. And then rest day Wednesday, and then we were back on Thursday. And what we did on Thursday, some block snatches, some power clean and jerks, some more accessories, and now we're here. So I'll let those videos play from Thursday, and I'll see you after. Come on. Yeah. Nice, Rory, come on. That was way better.
Why didn't you just do that every set, dude?
True. Alright, that was Thursday. Hope you enjoyed that session. It was pretty chill. Those power cleans were pretty hard. And the big thing for me with doing powers in training is that I don't do them very often. And the reason for that is because we even found that they've been super effective in actually helping me improve at my snatch and clean and jerk. Now, for some people, they're super important in training. But for me, we just haven't found that they've been effective. They have helped with some things, but at this point in time, pushing our powers, we feel as if my efforts are better spent pushing other parts of my weightlifting. The big thing for me with the power cleans is my technique being a limiter. My arms bend a little bit too early and I need to focus on reaching that good extension point. And the funny thing is my arms don't really do that on my full cleans. They do sometimes, but in the power cleans, they always bend early and I'm always limiting myself in the amount of extension that I can get with a power clean. Now, maybe that bad habit is coming into my full cleans as well, a bit more in recent months. And that tends to happen with fatigue. You look for different ways to put power into the bar, and bending your arms is a really simple way for your brain to feel like you're trying harder and putting more effort in. But actually with that bigger amount of effort, you're actually making it way harder for yourself because you're cutting the extension short and you're trying to muscle the bar instead of just trusting your technique and moving it efficiently. I did one power clean at the end at the same weight at 136 and it moved so much better and it was so much easier. It's crazy how a little technique shift can make a difficult weight feel easy. So that's it, 2 sessions this week, pretty simple. Now it's Friday, it's time for me to rest. I've been packing, I'm getting ready. I'm making sure that I've got everything I need to compete at my best in India next week. I'm so excited to put on the green and gold next week. I've even got my nails done again. There's a little kangaroo for Australia. Green, green. And the main thing I'm focusing on for next week is enjoying it, having fun, remembering why I love weightlifting so much and why I decide to train as much as I do and talk about it online and make all this content because I love it and I love what I do. There'll be a full recap coming once I return to Australia, but if you do want to see how I go in India, you can head over to my Instagram where I'll be doing daily updates and posting all about India and how I go. Thanks very much for watching. And I will see you when I get back.